Hey guys, in this episode, we'll be talking about travel and the travel industry in 2020 with our special guest, Stephany Hennings of Travelessence. Stay tuned for Cool Convos with cool people. All right, let's try that again. Hey, everybody. I did it 2 nights in a row. I forgot to unmute myself, but hey, it's all good. Live in the Elevate Black Businesses group. Again, Chris Giles of Black Tie Media. Tonight, I have a very special guest. I wanted to do something a little different. I want to bring some different business owners on so we can talk different things. You know, it's not just marketing. We get to break into the industry. So tonight, I have Stephany Hennings from Travelessence. How are you tonight?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Hey, anytime, anytime. So real quick, why don't you just tell them a quick thing about yourself, and your business?
Okay. So I'm Stephany, and my business is Travelessence. I am a travel agency. I've been in the industry since 2000. Actually, I've been in the industry since 1997.
Nice.
And I started my business in 2000. No, in 2003. And let's see, I specialize in all-inclusive vacations to the Caribbean and river cruises. And since COVID, I've just started also doing destination weddings.
Nice. So in travel, like what made you choose travel? Like why is that the business for you?
So when we were young, we used to go on family vacations. Like that
Mm.
was the thing. Every summer we would go on family vacations.
Yeah.
So this was back in the time when we would use, actual maps, like
Those
like
things. Yeah.
and my dad, he would map it out. And he actually my cousins lived in North Dakota. And that was one of the first road trips we took. So we lived in North Carolina.
Gotcha.
I'm in California now, but then we lived in North Carolina, and he would tell us like, this is the route we're going to take. And it was such a memorable experience for me
Hmm.
that it made me see like all the different ways that the world looked. So it really opened up my mind to just God's beautiful earth,
Mm.
and it made me want to help other people see it as well, because then I would meet people and they would say, I've never been out of my city.
Yeah.
And I'm like, really? Like, I want to help people see the world.
Yeah. Nice, nice, nice. Speaking of seeing the world, I totally forget. I always do this. Everybody in the comments, make sure you drop where you're watching from because we love to see that we got the variety. So I love to see where everybody's from. I know I've seen Georgia in here, Virginia, of course, North Carolina, live from California. So we're trying to cover the country. So drop those cities in there while we're doing that. So you said basically you got into travel because of the family, because of the experience. What would you say your favorite destination is?
I have a lot of favorite destinations for different reasons. So that's a very difficult question to answer. So, because every destination has something unique, right? Um, I celebrated my 40th vacation
Mm-hmm.
in, or my 40th birthday in Costa Rica.
Mm, nice.
So I don't know if that's why it stands out, because it was like a milestone for me.
Yeah.
But I love Costa Rica. Like I want to move there when we retire.
Yeah.
So that's probably been the place that stands out the most. You know how they say like you'll know if it's home, like when you go somewhere and you feel home. That's how
Yeah.
I felt when I went there.
Nice.
I felt like I
Nice.
was home.
See, I got it. See, that's so good. Like, I don't even have a passport yet. Like, I feel so like uncultured. Like, as much business and like that stuff I know, I'm like, I haven't left the country.
We can get you a passport.
Hey, that sounds good. We got to get
Yeah.
this started. Um, so one of the things, getting like vacations, right? A lot of times, like we said, how did COVID when it hit the industry, because we all know obviously travel stopped for a large part. What did you do to pivot and to kind of stay relevant?
So initially, I did not pivot. Initially, I kind of went into it like, oh no, because I knew what was like everybody had to cancel.
Yeah.
So after I got over the initial shock of it all, in fact, I have a group on Facebook, Travelessence.
Gotcha.
At the time, it was Globetrotting couples, right? And so I was like, I'm shutting it down. I'm shutting it down, and I'm just not going to do it anymore because it was like so discouraging.
Yeah.
But I took that time to kind of regroup. And once I had the chance to regroup, I decided to open the group back up, but I changed it to Travelessence to have like a general travel group. Because that's one of the things I specialize in all inclusive and river cruises, but I also specialize in couples travels. Like that's kind of what I'm passionate about.
Gotcha.
So that's why I created the Globetrotting couples group. So I will still focus on couples travel, but I have the Travelessence Facebook group for like just a general travel group. So I pivoted by opening up the Travelessence Facebook group.
Yeah.
And now we don't just talk about travel. We also talk about, like, I feel like travel is a wellness. It's a form of wellness.
Yeah.
So I've had different counselors and therapists come in and talk about wellness as a whole, especially during this time.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I love it. So anybody, again, in the group, she's talking about Travelessence. If you look down below her video, it has that's the Facebook page, but also if you just search that on Facebook, that'll take you to the group if you're interested in more information about the travel and the videos that she shoots. I get to watch them weekly or every other week when they happen, and it's amazing content. The last couple, I think, we're on Jamaica, and I was ready to hop a plane. COVID be darned. Like, I was like, let's go. I want to see some sun and some. So, yeah. So everybody I always ask, because it's also a business group, and it's very a lot of different types of businesses in here, and so I talk a lot about social media, digital marketing. What is your favorite social media platform?
So I kind of hate social media. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
But I think I go back and forth between Facebook and Instagram.
Got you. Yeah.
So Instagram I like for the visuals.
Yeah.
I like Facebook. Like I like the Facebook group platform.
Yeah.
I feel like it's easier to engage with people.
Yeah.
On there, and then I have my Facebook page, but I just feel like the engagement is harder there. So I use my Facebook group for engagement to do, the lives that just like now we're in a group.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't know the algorithms. I don't know all that stuff, but I do think that the groups are easier to get people talking and to start a conversation.
Yeah. Nah, that's so good. I know we talk all the time about social media, and that's why I asked that question, because I know that you don't really like it, and that's why we talk about it. And again, down below, if you look at her Instagrams right there, like, the amazing part, especially in your business, that I see watching from afar, is that the visuals tell the story. Like,
Yeah.
It's hard to talk about Jamaica or you said Costa Rica you've been to, and that's one of your favorite. Like, it's hard to write that. It's hard to, like, you have to be really skilled to, like, make that picture. But, like, to go look at your Instagram and go, oh, I want to go. Can you send me? Like,
Right.
what are you excited? Like, do you think, are we on a track where you think, like, international travel is going to start picking back up again soon, or you still on the fence about it?
I do. I think that so for me, being in the business,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to book. I'm not really booking any travel for the remainder of this year.
Yeah.
That's not to say that people aren't going, people are traveling.
Mm-hmm.
And I would go somewhere myself, but I don't want to book anybody else for this year.
Yeah.
So for me, I think that next year is good. I think that like spring
Mm-hmm.
is a good time to start planning forward. But what I'm telling anybody, even if I book them for this year, like I'm not booking anything without some form of travel insurance.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's I didn't even. So that's see, that's amazing. That's why people hire. That's why we would hire you, because I have no clue about. I didn't even know travel insurance was a thing until talking
Yeah.
to you. Like why? I mean, just give them a quick thing. Like why is travel insurance good? Like why is
Oh
that
my
benefit?
goodness. So for example, right now I've had people that, in fact, I have people that leave out on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
They were supposed to leave out today, but because their passport wasn't back in time because of COVID, right? Like
Yeah.
everything got backed up.
Oh.
So because of that, they had to change their travel date. And so because they had travel insurance or travel protection, they didn't have to, like it was seamless.
Yeah.
In fact, they got money at additional monies to rebook. So that was all because of travel protection that they had.
Nice.
They
That's
didn't have to work. They lost nothing. They gained money.
yeah.
Now, that doesn't normally happen. Like you don't usually get money in addition.
Like
But
it's not get rich quick, guys. Like don't get excited about that. Like we were just
right.
just the benefits of
Right. I've had people that were getting ready to get on a cruise, and they one of the guests had a heart attack,
yeah.
and so yeah, or somebody dies. Like nobody plans to have an
That's
emergency,
horrible. Yeah, I'm like, oh, that's horrible, and I'm laughing. I'm sorry.
right? You are laughing.
I'm horrible.
But nobody plans to have an emergency.
Right.
So that's the thing. Like even for myself, when we go get ready to go on a trip,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I don't want to pay for this because it's an additional expense.
Yeah.
But it's so worth it. Like just having the peace of mind, like it is worth it. So a lot of times people won't budget that into their trip.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand, but I, especially now, like you just don't know what's going to come up. So even while you're on the trip, we went to Israel, in fact. And on our way back, there was a snowstorm because we went in January and our connection was in New York. I think everything was shut down. So we ended up having to like extend our trip for a day or something. But because we had insurance, we could get a hotel and our insurance covered that.
Nice.
So it's worth it.
That's so good.
Mm-hmm.
To so kind of open this up a little bit to and guys, if you have any questions about business, marketing, travel business, like go ahead and drop those in the comments. We'll be glad to answer those as we go along. One of the things I was thinking about is in the business of it, upfront fees. Like, do you? And I ask this because I talk to a lot of people in the group that like have a service based business, but
Yes.
they battle with the idea of, do I charge a upfront fee, something non-refundable, because I still have to do the work even if it COVID happens, like because you're not covered by COVID, like that insurance doesn't pay you, right?
Right.
Yeah. So how do you feel about that, like that aspect of how important it is to get something for your time?
Right. So it's so funny that you asked me that because I just watched a video today on YouTube from a travel agent, and she was telling how travel agents work. Now, everybody's business model is set up differently, so I don't knock someone who doesn't charge a fee. And early on, I didn't. Like I said, I've been doing this since 1997.
Yeah.
And in 1997, airlines paid travel agent commissions, right?
Okay.
So you would get paid from airlines. Like if I book you an airline ticket, then I would get paid from the airline.
Gotcha.
And then as time went on, I think it was after 9/11, airlines stopped paying commissions.
Gotcha.
So it was like, I think that was a huge, like now we're in COVID, but then it was 9/11, right? Like that was a huge turn for travel agents to change the way they did business.
Yeah.
So I know some agents will pride themselves in not charging a fee, but for me, I've just realized that over the years, I've gotten so different requests, and then you do all the work, and then for whatever reason, that person doesn't book anything. So then you're left and it's like, well, I spent this time and now I'm not getting paid anything because they didn't book for me. So this is how it works. You find a vendor and you can book the trip through the vendor, and the vendor does pay commission if the client travels, and you get paid after travel. Typically, sometimes you get paid a little bit before they travel, but you get paid after travel. So if you call me and you want to book a trip and I don't charge a planning fee, then I do all the work, and then you're like, you know what, actually we decided we're not going to go. Or actually we decided I'm going to book it on my own because I can save $5 if I book it directly through the vendor. It's like, okay, all right, well, so you can save that money, that's fine, but then I've wasted my time. So that's why for me, I decided to implement a planning fee because I decided as a business owner, my time is valuable. I homeschool my kids. And so like during the day, like we have to do school. So if I pause from, teaching my kids to work over here, which I try not to do, then I've lost time with my kids, and that's money. So, the saying time is money, and it is true.
Yeah. So true. There's a couple questions coming up. Let me ask one more real quick on that, because you were talking about making sure you get paid. How do you, in those instances, before somebody does I can say $5 over here, how do you portray your value? Like, if somebody goes, well, there's all these websites, like, can't I just do that? Like, what is the value of a travel agent when I travel?
So I tell people all the time, like, I am here to save you time. So I can tell you, I am not here for the person that wants to be a DIY. Like, some people just want to do it themselves, and that's fine. My ideal client is a busy entrepreneur, right? Like, you don't have time it takes so much time to sit there and figure out which hotel am I going to be in, which cruise line do I want to choose? I don't even know how to choose a cruise line, or which itinerary am I going to choose? It takes a lot of time. So time is a big one for me. Saving you time.
That's amazing. We talk, because I tell people in the group all the time, like, when you get into the price thing, don't get into the price battle. Like, the battle is about value, because if you're valuable to somebody, then that's worth the money. That's worth the price of admission.
I think too, like, just being in the industry, I mean, it doesn't, I feel like, yes, I've been in the industry for a long time, but I also know agents who haven't been in the industry as long as me. But the thing about being in the industry and having a network is that you start to have contacts with people in these different locations, right? So it's the time, and it's also making connections with people at these different destinations. So it's having relationships with different vendors that can help you in times of an emergency, or, whatever. So like, if I have a person that is in a bind and they need help while they're on their trip, it's me being there for them while they're on their trip.
Gotcha.
It's me knowing who to call to make sure they're getting the best deal, or to make sure they're getting the best value. Because for me, it is about, like, if you say you want to spend X amount of dollars, really what I want to make sure is that you're getting the best bang for your buck. So like, I've had people that will say, like, I want to spend X amount of dollars, but then when I tell them what you're going to get for that amount of money, I'm like, you might want to spend just a little bit more to get exactly what you're wanting. Because for me, it's more about you getting what you want. Of course, nobody wants to spend a ton of money, right? But that ton of money statement is also like my pocket.
Yeah.
I can't plan your trip out of my pocket.
Right.
Right.
That's
So
so
that's
true.
one of the things that I've had to learn. Like everybody's definition is different. Like, so I specialize in, if I say I specialize in luxury travel
Yeah.
and you say, okay, cool, I want to book a luxury vacation, but I have to ask you, like, what is luxury to you?
Right. Yeah.
So for me, it's also being able to talk to you to find out what it is that you want. So being able to qualify you to make sure I'm delivering what it is you're asking for.
Yeah. That's so good. Let's see. Deville actually had a question. He actually had a couple questions. Let's see. One of them is, what other ways do you market your travel business other than social media?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I used to be in networking groups. I joined one. So we moved here last year and I joined one, but then I came out of that group. So I'm still trying to find my way outside of social media, but while I'm here.
Mm-hmm.
But in the past I've done, I don't know if you've heard of BNI, or am I supposed to not
Yeah, that's
say
fine.
different networking
That's
groups?
cool.
Okay. BNI is one that I have used,
Okay.
and that was a really good group. I think that you have to find a group that works for you,
Yeah.
but definitely, I've done Chamber of Commerce before,
Okay.
but I think I would say by far BNI was the one that really, like, I really did well with them.
Yeah. That's cool. And anybody that's not, if anybody's not familiar with like BNI or networking groups, basically it's you sign up. Usually in the group, it's based on your area, and usually there can only be one of each industry type person there. And the idea is that you guys help each other get leads and all that. So just for anybody who wasn't familiar with that,
And also word
yeah,
of mouth. Like, I think because I've had enough time to like build my business.
yeah,
I have a lot of referrals. So that's definitely in fact, that's probably a big chunk is referrals.
yeah, definitely. Um, what was the other question? Oh, there it is. Sorry. The other one is, and totally up to you if you want to answer it, was how much do you charge for your fee? Like your actual, I'm keeping this no matter what fee. No, I'm joking.
Okay. So it varies depending on what you're looking for. Um, it's not on my website, right?
No,
Like,
it's
did
not.
we put it on the website?
It's not.
Black Tie Media recently plug. Black Tie Media recently redid my website. So we changed a few things around. And if you're looking for, is it okay if I say this?
Man, it's up to you. It's
Oh,
yours.
okay. I just want to make sure. Like, if you're looking for somebody to do your website, um, Chris at Black Tie Media is a great person to call. But so we took some things off, and that was one of them because so to answer your question, how much do I charge? It varies. Um, I've charged $25 per person for a group. So like if it's a large group, then I'll charge $25 per person.
Yeah.
For destination weddings, I will charge $500 for the destination wedding fee up front. So it varies, and it would just depend on exactly what you're looking for. Like I've worked with a photographer
Yeah.
that wanted customization in Ireland. Like that kind of thing varies. So
I definitely, yeah. So that's good. So hopefully I answered your question, Deville. Like I definitely understand that because, like you said, one person versus 20 people. It's like,
yeah.
all right, I need a little bit more. Again, if you guys, anybody else has any questions, feel free to drop them in. I'm glad to answer. Um, I wanted to touch on because I knew you were saying the networking groups and word of mouth were huge for you. Just that, like, I know the other stuff that we talked about is how important do you feel like the website is now? Is it important to your business because you feel like people say you need a website, or like do you feel like it gives you some validity in a sense?
I do feel like it gives you some sort of validity.
Hmm.
I also, for me, I feel like it's a chance for people to kind of get to know who you are.
Yeah.
So I know for me, when I get ready to use most people's business, like that's one of the first things I do. Like I want to see your work.
Yeah.
I want to see who you are. So I feel like prior to me contacting someone,
Hmm.
whether it's, via text message or Facebook Messenger or a phone call, whatever. Like I want to see who I'm talking to, so I'm trying to find them on social media so
Yeah.
I can see what they're about. So I do feel like your website is important.
Yeah.
You can probably speak more on that because I don't really like it's. I will say like in the travel industry, it's so hard to stay like you have to stay relevant, right? And it is constantly changing.
Yeah.
So it's hard to know like, hey, I need to do this, I need to do that. Now I need to get on TikTok. Like what? Like I'm not getting on TikTok.
TikTok, I need to dance in the sand in Costa Rica so they know I'm a
Yeah,
travel
like
agent.
now I got to do reels. Like oh my gosh.
That's
So
funny.
at least your website, you can. It's just there. Like it doesn't have to change.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have updated my website over the years,
Yeah.
but overall, it's not something that I'm constantly going back to, other than posting a blog,
Hmm.
which we were able to connect those two. So that's been really good. Um, so yes, I do think that a website is important.
Nice. And like, cause I talk about it in the group all the time. We talk about websites and to me, I always explain it, especially in a business like yours, a service business, that it's like a business card. It's the equivalent of a business card now because people, I mean, honestly, in this group alone, we have people, one of the like spam things, and you don't know if it's a scam or not, is like logos have become huge. Like, oh, everybody makes a logo, and you're like, but half of them don't have websites, and so then you're like, okay, well, I just won't do that. But if they
Right.
have a
That's
website, you're like,
go to your website and see. Like I want to see your work.
yeah, like that's an elaborate scam if you did all this work to prove yourself. So it's like it's almost
Right.
valid. Like, oh, it's like, oh, they exist. It's a real company.
Right.
How do you the blog, is that something that you actually like, is it something you enjoy, or is it kind of another like a marketing thing, like they say I should have a blog so I do it, or
Um, yes and no. Like I do enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it. Like I enjoy it because I do want to get information out there. But it's just for me, like I am learning how to have like a process or like a system.
hmm,
So like I want to get to the point where I'm like, okay, on Monday, this is what I'm gonna do.
yeah,
On Tuesday, I'm gonna write a blog post. On Wednesday, do you know what I mean?
yeah,
And so for me, it's just hard for me to keep that updated because it's just another thing to do.
yeah,
And I've heard all the ways to do it. Like you can repurpose, and it's like, okay, I know, but I need to figure out. I don't know. It's just a time management thing, I think.
I feel like I'm getting thrown under the bus on this. Hold on.
No,
I need
no,
to, I
not
need
at all.
these sound like things I tell people, so I'm like, oh man, maybe I should stop. I feel ashamed. Um,
It's good. It's good information. It's just like it's just being able to implement and be consistent, right? That's the word we hear all the time,
yeah,
is be consistent. And it's not something that I've been consistent like I want to be.
yeah, yeah. That's so, yeah, I get it. What was the other question I had? Um, so I know we talked about giving away, because we in here I tell a lot of people we're talking about emails. Like email is so important to grab people's email, but you have to bribe them. Um, and I know we were talking and we're working on a certain thing. What was the? Can you just tell? You mind sharing with them what you wanted to give away as your bribe for emails?
Oh yeah. So I recently did a YouTube video about essentials
Mm,
for like if you're going to get on the airplane, and essentials that you would need or that would be helpful
yeah,
while you're on the plane. So as I was like, I got ready to post it, and I was like, oh, maybe I should wait and do a like a whole like a PDF file or what do you call it, like a checklist type
Yeah,
thing.
yeah,
And so that's when I contacted you. Well, I posted it anyway, right? I was like, I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get this checklist out.
yeah,
So I posted it, and then I contacted you. I was like, do you think this would be something good to have? And you said yes. So that's what I'm working on now, is getting like a checklist of travel essentials for travel during COVID.
yeah. Yeah, and that's so amazing. I really just asked you that. I pulled that because I know a lot of people in the group. I'll say like 80% is like e-commerce, like they're selling products, and so I
Right.
always tell them like, look, you got to bribe them. So in that instance, it's usually a discount. But I just wanted to use that as an example of even in a service-based business, how you have something to offer that you can give for free. Like the list that you're making up, it's valuable, especially if you don't travel a lot or if you haven't traveled in 3 or 4 months because of all
Right.
this going on. Like there's so much value in that, and then you give it away for free for the email address, and now it's a
Yes.
new contact in your list. So that was a little bribe. That was my bribe. I just wanted to pull it out of you so I could show them that it means something.
Well, hopefully I'll have it done by next week, and I will send that over to you, and you can, you know,
Make it happen. And then you guys
yes.
got to come to the website and get it so she can get your email address and send you all the stuff so you can
Right.
travel. let's do all that. Um, where'd it go? What is So I know traveling now. How inside the country? Have you been keeping up with like the places that are starting to open back up for big family travel and stuff like that? Since it's summer vacation is still kind of we're at the end of it. Like, are there some places that you know that are open and good places to travel right now?
Yeah, so I'll start by saying this. So there's kind of like there's several different ways of transportation, right?
Yeah.
So some people want to do road trips,
Mm-hmm.
and do like maybe rent an RV,
Mm-hmm.
do it that way, or just use your car. And then other people might want to fly somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's always train, like transportation via train.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could do bus too, but let's just use those two for right now. And so I'll say this: I'm not really sure about places that are shut down. So for us, what we have done is really just kind of stay in our area,
Mm-hmm.
and travel. Well, we've also flown. We've flown to South Carolina, and we've flown to North Carolina and driven to South Carolina.
Gotcha.
So one of the things that I think is important to note is that, because I know a lot of people are hesitant about flying on an airplane,
Yeah.
and they're like, I don't want to be in that closed space.
Right.
No, like it's a real fear. And
Yeah.
so it's like, I think that it's important to note, like, once you get on the airplane is fairly safe.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on what airline you choose. Some of the airlines are social distancing, which is good. What are you laughing at?
I was like the depending on who you pick, because some of them they ain't got their acts together. They tripping. Like that's how I felt
Yeah,
from.
I mean, and it's different for all of them.
Yeah.
So it's good to either use a travel agent that can do the research.
Yeah.
'Cause again, it's always changing. So that's been one of the things that has been important, is
Yeah.
staying on top of things to know, like, for example, which airline is doing social distancing and which
Right.
isn't. So I know for us, when we have traveled, even
Mm-hmm.
in our state, we are like, some beaches are super crowded, and I'm like, no, we're not going to stay here.
Yeah.
And then other beaches are not as crowded.
Yeah.
So I think it's good to like know where you're going. Like for us, this kind of goes into the YouTube video we just did, right?
Right.
But it's like, take your hand sanitizer, just take all those essentials that you would need to feel safe.
Yeah.
Because like restaurants most of them, at least here,
Mm-hmm.
are doing dining outdoors.
Okay.
Now, I have yet to do a dining out. I did when we went to Charleston.
Mm-hmm.
We dined indoors, but we were the only ones in the restaurant.
Got you.
So I felt safe. So So for us, I'm choosing things. You have to do what makes you feel safe,
Yeah.
and everybody's safe is different. So I know y'all went to Florida. Did you feel safe?
I was like, I don't know. Like at the resort, like it was probably 25% capacity. So it was
Okay.
not, and I don't know if it was on purpose, but like, so it felt pretty safe there. But like,
Right.
we went to SeaWorld and Aquatica, and I was like, if this is half capacity, how many people are in here? Because it still felt like a lot of people.
Okay.
We went to Cocoa Beach, like it was still felt like a lot of people out. So to me, I was like, well, if this is half, like I'm kind of glad we came when it was half because I think I would
Right.
have I would have broke out in hives if it was full capacity. Like what in the world?
Right.
But yeah,
So
it's like you said, we did car travel, so it was you know
yeah, like did you take like so I'm super like I love to travel and
yeah
I will travel right now, but I'm taking everything. Like even
yeah yeah
like even when we flew to North Carolina, like we had gloves.
yeah
When we got in the rental car, like I wiped everything down.
yeah
Um when I get gas right now, I'm wearing gloves.
yeah.
Like, did you do that? Or how was
I
your
did.
road trip?
I didn't. I'm just super like I'm super. I'll touch anything. I guess because I worked in fast food and you always had to just touch grimy stuff. So I like. I'm just okay. I'll touch it and do it, and then just make sure the hand sanitize super heavy after. Um,
Right. See, that's
yeah,
what I mean though. Everybody's safe is different, right? Like
yeah,
everybody feels different about certain things. Some people are like, I didn't love walking through the airport.
yeah. I can feel that.
Okay, but it was also 4th of July weekend. So
Oh yeah.
it was heavier traffic because of that.
So did it even feel? Did it even feel? Did it feel like less though? Even though it was like it was a lot. Okay.
It didn't feel like less.
Where did we go? Because we went to. So the weird thing about say like Aquatica was they because they were like the pools and those kind of things. You
Yeah,
couldn't wear your mask in the pool
right.
because they didn't want it to get caught in their filtration
Yeah,
and all this stuff.
that's weird.
So like they have like four buildings, and so like literally the whole park nobody's wearing a mask except if unless you go into this one food building because you don't carry the mask with you if you I don't know. So that was like kind of weird for me, but it's,
Yeah, it is weird, right? Like it's kind of like going into a restaurant and you know,
you gotta take it off just to eat. Hold on, so I can eat, but I gotta put it back up, or like what are we doing?
let me take a drink.
Yeah, because I mean, SeaWorld, we're outside the whole time, and it's 98 degrees, but we got to wear masks the whole time. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, but we're outside, and they're like, well, you're close to people, and I'm
Oh
like,
yeah.
so, oh, COVID, let me not get on that train.
Yeah. Next question.
Right. Um, I had one, and this just threw me all off. I knew what it was too. If you guys got any other questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. Anything business, anything travel related. What was the other? What so outside of COVID, right? What
Yes.
is your favorite spot for family vacations besides Disney? Everybody says Disney. What's next? It's,
Disney cruise count? Is that still Disney?
yeah, that's still Disney. That don't know.
Oh man. I mean, we are a Disney cruise family.
Got you. Got you.
So for our family, like
Yeah.
we have 4 kids
Yeah.
and they range in age from now 18 to 8.
Yeah.
So I feel like I mean there's many different places that you can go to please, all age ranges. But Disney, I feel like does such a great job of covering it all and specifically the Disney cruise because like they even have areas on the ship
Yeah.
where it's adult only.
Got you.
So it's like the kids can do their thing and so it's different from Disney World, right? Like it's different
Got you.
because when you go to Disney World, it's a family vacation.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not gonna drop the kids off anywhere. Most people wouldn't anyway. Be like, pick you up. Where,
It's
this spot. So, but the Disney cruise is so different because you can do that.
Yeah.
They make it so that you can have parent time and also family time.
Gotcha.
We went one Christmas, and it was like we had to tell our kids like we're gonna spend Christmas Day together. Like we're gonna at least
Yeah.
do dinner together because it's it's Christmas.
Yeah.
So I think they do a great job of making sure you can have a family vacation,
Yeah.
but also you can have parent time too. So again, I'm all about like couples
Yeah.
spending time together and making sure that you pull away from the kids just to be able to have quality time.
Yeah.
So I think that the Disney cruise is a great way to get both in at the same time.
All right. I guess I'll let you slide since it's
Thank
not,
you.
Disneyland or world. Okay. Um, how is the cruise market doing now? Because I know for a while they're closed down. Do you know if they're even starting to plan to do stuff yet, or they're just like,
For most, you can book through 2022.
okay,
So, I mean, the cruise season for this year is
that's
pretty
pretty
much
much
gone. Yeah.
got it, got it. Um, I literally had this one thing that was on the tip of my tongue.
I will say, well, while you're thinking about that, like the whole refund situation,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, like it was just terrible.
yeah,
People like, when am I going to get my refund? And honestly, though, I was like, I have some great clientele. Like the Lord has blessed me with that.
yeah.
Um, I did not have anyone as long as they waited. I canceled one trip in April,
Mm-hmm.
and they got their money back maybe 3 weeks ago. Like
Okay.
they just got their money back 3 weeks ago. And throughout that whole process, like we communicated the whole time, like you let me know, I'll let you know if I hear anything.
Yeah,
But they've been really, I think most people overall have been really patient. So I think I'm saying this to say, if anybody had a trip planned and you had a travel agent, extend grace
yeah. I agree.
because it's been an experience that many agents haven't gone through before. Like no, none of us have gone through COVID.
Right, right, right.
Um, so it's definitely something to say, like, just extend grace if you can. I can't speak for all agents, but most agents that I know, like, they're honest, they're trustworthy, so they're not trying to take your money.
Yeah,
Um, so just extend grace.
got you. Yeah, definitely in that. I remember
Okay.
I wanted to ask, because I know everybody as a travel agent, like there are large companies that you could just go be a travel agent at. What was like the deciding factor for you to do it as your own business, like uh, to be your own business, to be Travelessence instead of like, oh, I'm just Stephany at.
Uh, I just wanted to have my own. Like I wanted it to have my own business, make my own hours.
Yeah.
So the way my business is set up, and if there's anyone else in the travel industry, I'm sure they're familiar with this, but I have a host agency.
Okay.
So what that means is it's still my business,
Mm-hmm.
um, but I have a host agency. They're kind of there for support. When I do get paid by the vendor, the money
Mm-hmm.
goes to them first, and then the host agency sends me a check.
Gotcha.
So for me, like I don't have a desire to branch off and do it like on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I just don't like I don't I when you have a host agency, it's kind of like you have a number of agents
Mm-hmm.
that are going through them, so it's like a numbers thing, right? So the more agents you have, then the better like travel
Mm-hmm.
promotions that you can have, because they see, oh well, this agency is producing this much money,
Gotcha.
so it means that we can get and have access to different promotions and things like that.
Yeah.
Whereas if I were by myself, I may not have those type of promotions. I mean, I can. Like there are agents that are very successful with it, but for me, I'm just in a place where I'm good with the host agency.
Yeah. No, that's so good. I just asked that because I try to always make sure that because I tend to be like a run and gun. Like I want the biggest everything, and like I try to make sure that when I talk to people, and I'm like, look, it's about being self aware. It's about
Right.
knowing what's good for you, what you want. There's
That's
certain
right.
businesses that aren't good for me, and there's certain businesses, you know.
Yeah, and that's like I was saying earlier, like everybody is set up differently, right? Like some agencies charge fees,
Hmm.
others don't. And so, to ask the question like, well, like I don't want to promote myself as free work. Like I just
Hmm.
don't. So for me, it's like I know my worth
Hmm.
and my value. So as far as being being a business owner, like I love having the freedom to make my own hours and not have to answer to someone, you know,
Yeah.
saying we're going to write you up because XYZ. Like I when I did work in an agency, this is when I did corporate. This is
Hmm.
my first time doing corporate travel. So I was
Okay.
working at a company and I was in the travel department. And I used to think, this is when I first started, I used to think that corporate travel was going to be great. Like people know exactly what they want. No one
Right.
is going to be like, well, maybe I want to go here. I think I want to go to Europe, but maybe I want to go to Jamaica too.
Yeah.
Like, okay. So like with corporate, it's like, you know exactly what you're looking for, right? That's what I thought. Well,
Mm.
so going into it, they do know exactly what they're looking for, but they're also like my experience was not what I thought it was going to be. So I remember getting written up because a traveler he wanted an aisle seat, and I guess he had a window seat or something. I don't know. And he complained, and I was like, she called my boss at the time. She called me in the office, and she was like, I have to write you up. I was like, wait, I'm getting written up because you didn't get an aisle seat? What?
Yeah.
So I think it was like during that time that I'm like, this is not for me. Like I hated corporate travel.
Yeah.
So being able to do my own thing, work my own hours, and it works for our family, like
Yeah.
that for me is what I need. I can't imagine like working for somebody else again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with you, and like I said, that's why I like that you share it that way because it works. Your model works for you and your family, your time. Because I mean, you know, probably people probably think I'm crazy because I'm probably at the computer 12, 15 hours, or before COVID, I was on the road a lot. Like,
Yep.
but it was just the life I chose, and it works for us ish.
Right, right.
I've been married 13 years. Like it's fine, right?
Right.
So, cool. I appreciate you being here. You got any closing thoughts for the people?
Um, yeah, like use a travel agent. Don't be afraid. I mean, use Travelessence. I'm perfectly fine with that. But if you know someone that's a travel agent, use their services. Do your research and find out, which agent works for you. And don't be afraid to travel. Like it's a wonderful thing. It's a big, beautiful world out there. Chris, get your passport.
I'm working on it. Working too hard, I guess. I just ain't had time yet.
Get your passport. I'll send you the information after.
All right, that's good. All right. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for dropping questions. Thanks so much for watching. Like and share again. Trying to bring something different. So first up, hopefully, we brought a travel agent on. So travel business. Let's go. Hey guys, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. Hey, make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next episode of Cool Convos with Cool People.